pasta arrabiata, the spicy angry pasta from the region of Lazio, and I'm going to show you how to make it. In our pasta arrabiata, we're going to be using about 4 to 5 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, about 3 cloves of garlic, about 3 or 4 fresh basil leaves, some salt, some pepper, a can of San Marzano tomatoes, about 500 grams of dried pasta, Paccheri that is, and about 1 pound of hot sausage. First things first, we're going to start with about 4 to 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in our stainless steel pan. Now we're going to come in with about 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm crushing up my garlic because it liquefies into the pan better, into the sauce better, and I'm also putting a little bit of water just so that the garlic doesn't burn. As we're cooking our garlic, I'm going to be cutting up some Fresno Chilis here. I want to try to cut them up as finely as possible. And now that our peppers are in the pan with our olive oil and garlic, we're going to continue to cook them in the pan. As we're cooking our garlic and our chilies, we're going to crush up our San Marzano tomatoes, and we're going to be extremely messy and just get it everywhere. Okay, and once we get our tomatoes fairly crushed up, this is what the consistency should look like. It's pretty rustic, but it's getting to the consistency that we want. Okay, now we're going to come in with our tomatoes, and we're going to cook this on low to medium heat for maybe about 10 minutes or so. Our next step is going to be to cut the skin off of the hot sausage, and this step is one of the steps that I prefer, as I like the consistency of the hot sausage when the skin is off. Now that we've removed the skin from our hot sausage, we'll be cooking it on the skillet and crushing it up continuously with a wooden spoon to get it as fine as possible. One thing you could also do is cook the meat on top of the garlic and the chilies. However, I decided to cook the meat in a separate pan in case I get too much grease or oil. It's time to chop some parsley. 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 Now we've added our parsley to our sauce. We're going to mix. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and now that we're off to a rolling boil, we're going to add our rock salt. As our sauce is cooking, we're going to break up our basil, and we don't want to cut our basil because once you cut your basil, you lose a lot of the flavor in your sauce, and you always add the basil towards the end of the cooking process. We've added our Paccheri, and we're going to get a mug of pasta water. We may need it, we may not. And this pasta is going to be cooking for about 14 minutes until we add it into the sauce. Okay, now our pasta's cooked, and we're going to put our Paccheri in our sauce. And we're going to mix it together and add a little bit of pasta water. All right, and the final product for plating. our final ingredient, some Pecorino Romano cheese on top. I'm going to dust this right on top.